Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This week's video is going to be a question and answer video. All of the questions that I had you guys ask me on my Instagram. If you are not following me over there, that is where I always ask you guys to ask me questions for these types of videos. So if you aren't already, go ahead over and give me a follow and you will see more day-to-day life stuff. But other than that, if you are new to my channel, welcome. My name is Lauren and this is my second pregnancy with our rainbow baby, and it is a girl. So if you would like to follow our journey, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and welcome. The first question I'm going to answer is, when is my due date and how many weeks am I? I got this question a lot. I am currently 24 weeks. It is Wednesday. Every Saturday I turn a new week, so I'm in the middle of my 24th week. And my due date is May 1st, so it is coming up very quickly. Okay, so the next question is, have the dogs been a lot closer to you? The two bigger dogs, Zola and Jack, no. They are really close to my husband, but this one, I'll show you. Come here, Bubba. This one is always with me, and yes, she is very close to me. She has been sick the past few weeks, so she's been a lot closer to me these past few weeks, but she is always super close to me. I've had her since I was, I believe, 9 years old, so, and I'm 21 now, so she is definitely a mama's girl, so. But the other dogs, they are not really showing that they know that I'm pregnant, really. They never showed it with Gracie either. If anything, Gabby is more protective of me with the other dogs. So she'll nip at the other dogs if they try and get in my face and she's really close to me. So okay. The next question is, can you give us a hint of what her name will be? Okay, so if you guys know, we are not announcing her name until birth, and we figured it out pretty early on in my pregnancy, and I'm really excited about it. I'm really excited to tell you guys about it, and I will give you just like a tiny hint, but it's the only hint I'm gonna give you guys because I want it to be a surprise, and I'm really happy with it. But the first letter of her name is M. Actually, I can give you her initials. So her initials will be MGB. So that is the only hint that I'm giving you guys. But if you want to comment down below what your guess is, now that you know that it starts with an M, comment down below. I won't give it away if you guys comment it, but it is a very unique name, so I don't think anybody will comment it. I've never seen a name spelled like this. I've never seen it ever. So yeah, I'm super excited about it, but that is the only hint I'm going to give you guys for now. Are you planning on pumping again? This is kind of a hard question. The only reason I pumped whenever I had Gracie was because she was in the NICU. I was not able to breastfeed. With this baby girl, I am going to try and breastfeed if I can. But if she is not able to, or she has a tongue tie and is not able to breastfeed or something, I will pump because I know for a fact that I'm at least able to pump. I don't know how breastfeeding will work for me and her, but I am going to at least give it a try, and worst comes to worst, I will be pumping. The next question is, am I scared to give birth? It's kind of a really hard question because I was so scared to give birth to Gracie. My plan was to have her naturally, but it just didn't end up that way. I ended up having to have a C-section. It was an emergency C-section, but it was emergency and controlled, if that makes sense, because I just had like a regular incision. It wasn't like an up and down incision. But I didn't like the atmosphere of a C-section. I don't want to have another C-section if I can. That was not, I'm not trying to scare any of you guys, but a C-section was the worst entire pain of my life. If you've seen my birth story video, you will know, or you know that I had a lot of complications with the spinal block and then getting it in my back. So I was sitting on the table for about a half an hour of them trying to get a needle in my back, and they tried multiple times. Eventually they got it, but it was the worst pain of my life. And I was actually talking to my husband about it not too long ago, and he's like, it's crazy how moms do that, because they will go through that worst pain ever and then have another baby, but not even remember what the pain was like. And it's crazy because I don't remember that pain, but I can remember that it was the worst pain of my life. But am I scared for this birth? Yes and no. I did have contractions before I went in for my emergency C-section, but I didn't have unbearable contractions. I only made it to like, I don't even remember, like 2 to 3 centimeters. So I never made it really far where the contractions were very terrible. So we will see. I am nervous, of course, but I'm just hoping and praying for the best and hoping that I have a positive experience this time rather than another C-section. Are you doing a birth vlog? The plan is to. My husband does not like being with the camera though, so it really depends on him, because I mean, I can do as much as I can, but ultimately he would be the one filming it. So we'll see how that happens. I'm gonna bring my camera, but we'll see how he's feeling, if he wants to or not. I wanted to when I had Gracie, but he just was not having it. He did not want to do it, so we didn't end up doing it. But I'm hoping to at least get a little bit of footage from this birth. Okay, the next question is, when did you find out you were pregnant again? This is all in my pregnancy update, but if you did not see it, I believe it was like mid to late August. My birthday is August 29th, and I knew I was pregnant on my birthday, so it was before my birthday, sometime in the middle. I don't have the exact day because I did not film it, and I did not take any pictures of the test or anything that day because I wasn't expecting it. So, but it was sometime in the middle of August that I found out that I was pregnant again. What is something you learned from the first pregnancy that will help you with this one? I had to think so hard about this question at first, but once I actually thought about it, one thing that I learned from my first pregnancy and that I am embracing now is just embracing being pregnant, because being pregnant it's an amazing feeling. Yes, you might go through a lot of pains and that type of thing, but you're only pregnant for as long as you're pregnant, sometimes not even 9 months. And I don't know. I know when I was pregnant with Gracie and after I had her, I missed her being in my stomach because I was able to protect her. Like, she was protected and in my stomach, but once she was out into the world, I was not able to protect her like I was while I was pregnant. So just embracing my pregnancy and taking a lot of pictures so I have the memories, because that is, I don't know, that's the most important part of pregnancy for me, just embracing it. The next question is, are you considered high risk? Yes, I am considered high risk. With Gracie, my first pregnancy, I was considered very high risk. I don't know how high risk you can get, but I was very up there in high risk. But I am considered high risk this time because of my first pregnancy and all of the complications that I had. I currently am not having any complications, baby-wise, any of that, or like blood work, like no complications like that, but I still have to go to the high-risk OB and be seen by them. The next question is, what symptoms did you have before testing? I did not really have too many symptoms. The only symptoms that I really had was just feeling very tired and just a tiny bit nauseous. I honestly didn't think I was pregnant. I just, right after having Gracie, it was a few months after having Gracie, so I only had my period once after I had her. So I didn't even think it was really possible to be pregnant because I did not have my regular period or anything like that. But I ended up taking a test and it was positive, so yeah. So the symptoms that I had were just nausea and fatigue. But other than that, you wouldn't have been able to know I was pregnant. The next question is, how are you feeling emotionally? I would say I'm feeling good. I am just trying to be very positive about this pregnancy and I don't know, just keep my head up and try and not think of the worst possible case, because that just gives me terrible anxiety. So I am just trying to make the best of this pregnancy and I'm doing okay. I mean, I still have bad days where my anxiety takes over and I will just basically have a breakdown while I'm making dinner because a pot overflowed and my husband was sitting on the couch and he wasn't helping me, but I did not ask him for help. That was a whole day that I was just having a terrible day and my emotions got the best of me. But on the regular day-to-day basis, I am doing really good and just staying as positive as possible. The next question is, what have you been craving the most throughout your pregnancy? I've only been craving a couple things. If you saw my pregnancy video, I'm gonna link it down below for you guys because a lot of the questions are the same. But I craved a lot of, oh, my phone just fell. I craved a lot of Sonic and McDonald's fries. They're like the skinny fries. Those I, for some reason, have been wanting nonstop. And then also ice cream here and there, maybe like once or twice a week. It was very, very crazy my first pregnancy that I wanted ice cream all the time. But thankfully it's kind of gone down a bit and I'm not always hungry for it. So, and then the last thing that I have been craving is strawberries dipped in like a cream cheese dip. And that's a healthy thing, so I guess that's the good thing that I've been craving, but the rest is basically just junk food. So I am eating it, but definitely in moderation. Okay, the next question is, what do you do to prevent stretch marks? The only thing I do is I use a stretch mark cream in the morning and at night. I don't do anything crazy. In the shower, I use like a scrub. It's from one of my local stores. It's just like a harder scrub to scrub my belly to get all like dry skin off or anything like that that would be there. But other than using the lotion morning and night, I believe it's the Dr. Palmer's pregnancy lotion, like stretch mark lotion. But other than that, that is all I really use. I don't go crazy trying to prevent them because I have them on my legs, and if I'm gonna get them, I'm gonna get them. But I can at least do a little something to try and prevent them. But yeah, that is all I really do for my stretch marks. I did not get any stretch marks with my first pregnancy, but I also never got really big in my pregnancy because Gracie was only a little over 2 pounds when she was born. So I'm already getting close to where I was when I delivered with Gracie, size-wise. So I don't know if I'll have stretch marks this time, but that is all I do to try and prevent them. The next question is, do you think your baby will come before or after your due date? My husband thinks that she will come on Gracie's birthday, April 28th. Like I said, she's due May 1st, so my husband thinks she'll be born a few days early on Gracie's birthday. And part of me thinks the same thing because I know Gracie was a very stubborn baby. For the time that she was with us, she was definitely stubborn, just like her father. So if there would be a day that she could pick to come, this baby, it'll definitely be on Gracie's birthday, I'm thinking. So I'm hoping that she has her own birth date, but we will see. Comment down below what day you guys think that she will be born. Okay, the next question is, how did you choose your baby name? So we chose her name. We actually had it picked out prior to having Gracie, our first baby girl, and we really like the name. It can be a common name. It can be. I'm not gonna say it is because it can be, but we really like the name, but with the spelling, it just did not go. So we ended up changing the spelling completely of the name. It still sounds the same, but the spelling is completely different. So we changed it like that, and I fell in love with it. And because I changed Gracelyn's name while I was pregnant with her, because we actually had the name Henley picked out for Gracie, and randomly one day I told my husband, I'm like, my daughter's name is not gonna be Henley. It's just not. Like, nope. But he, to this day, will still not really talk about her name yet because he does not want me to change my mind, basically, because he really loves the name too. And if you don't know my husband and I are complete opposite, and coming up with a name that we both liked is not easy, but we both love this name and we 100% agreed on it together, and I just love it. So that is how we named her. The next one is, how much weight have you gained so far in your pregnancy? When I got pregnant with this little girl, I believe I was like 125, 130. And I weigh about 140 now. So I gained maybe 10 pounds. I wanna say I was closer to 130. So between 10 and 15 pounds I gained, not too much. I also am 24 weeks. I don't know if that's normal, but I know that in my category, I'm supposed to gain like 30 to 35 pounds in my pregnancy. So we will see. Whenever I delivered Gracie, I believe I was just 150, almost on the dot. So we'll see. I'll probably gain a little bit more than that this time, because when I got pregnant with Gracie, I was only like 100 or between 100 and 110. So I was definitely a lot smaller, but I still had all my baby weight and all of that with this pregnancy. What is the nursery theme or color scheme of the nursery? If you can see, here's a little sneak peek. It's gonna be like a boho neutral colored room. I just have like a lot of things colored in this, like just like a neutral tan, white, and then some plants here and there. But yeah, so just very neutral and just definitely going with like the aesthetic of the house, kind of. What are some anxieties you had? So if you don't know, I have had anxiety my entire pregnancy, ever since I found out, basically. And I have not been taking any medicine or anything like that. But my main anxieties that I've had with this pregnancy is just going to my appointments, and definitely the anatomy scan was the worst anxiety that I've ever had, but it is definitely starting to subside a little bit. Yeah, it is definitely going down the farther along that I get, but I believe my anxiety will be really high when I go into labor, or once I have her, just because you don't know anything. Anything could happen, and that just makes me really nervous. But like I said, I'm just trying to be really positive with this pregnancy and keep all the good thoughts rather than all the bad thoughts. So that's kind of where my anxiety is. It is definitely better than it was. Before the anatomy scan, it was definitely a lot worse. When I had the anatomy scan, it was bad, but after that, and after the fetal echo that I had, or that she had, I guess, the anxiety slowly started going down. Not everything was very triggering to me, but still appointments to this day are still giving me anxiety to go to, but definitely more doable than it was before. And the last question that I have for you guys is, how is your second pregnancy compared to your first? So this pregnancy has definitely been 10 times harder than my first pregnancy. This pregnancy I've had a lot more pain and a lot more stretching, I guess you could say. With my first pregnancy, I didn't get very big and I never had any pains or anything like that other than when I was in labor. So I've had insanely terrible back pain this pregnancy, to where I've never had this back pain in my life before. So that's pretty terrible. Those are the only two things that I can think of pain-wise. Oh, my C-section scar. I obviously had a C-section with Gracelyn, so my C-section scar caused this pregnancy a lot of pain through my scar, just because of the nerves in my C-section scar. So that is another thing that I did not have my first pregnancy. Okay, that is all of the questions I have for you today, guys. I really hope you enjoyed. If you liked the video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up for me and hit the subscribe button. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!